get started in music?
Well, I started selling music out the trunk of my car, and a lot of people told me I couldn't do it. I was from the South at that time. Some of the biggest artists in the world was from the West Coast and the East Coast. And you had the Biggie Smalls, you had the Tupac. And I just was a kid that had a vision and a dream, and saying that one day I was gonna put my neighborhood, my community on the map. And as I got closer to my dreams and started selling a couple of records locally, I got approached by Jimmy Iovine, and he told me he had $1 million for me. So I'm a kid from the projects. I only had $500 in my pocket, and I turned down $1 million from Jimmy Iovine. And
say that one more time.
I turned down $1 million from Jimmy Iovine. He had Bad Boy, he had Death Row at the time. He told me if he had me, he'll have the streets. And I said to myself, if this white guy that don't know me is gonna offer me $1 million, how much am I really worth? I started realizing, man, my self-worth, that somebody that didn't know me. And I started thinking about the Michael Jordan deal. And I kept telling myself, you know, Michael Jordan sold his name, he sold his rights for $1 million. I can't do that. I'm going back to the project where I live with 16 people in a 3-bedroom project. And so I said, I want to take my grandmother out of here, and before I go do that, I want to do it on my own. I want to do it independently, so I could take everybody out of the project.
P, did they think that you were out of your mind?
They thought I was crazy. So Jimmy Iovine told me I'd never get a deal. You know, he said, I know everybody, you'll never get a deal after this if you don't take it. And I said one thing, you know, I believe in that man up above. Like, I'm not going to sit around and you're not going to stop me. You know, they say go and make them, your enemies your footstool. And, you know, a couple years later, you know, I sit at the table where they had to respect me to where I named my company No Limit. I call myself Master P because I'm a master of what I do. And I ended up selling over 100 million records and being from the project.
How long did it take you to develop your style and feel secure in the style you cultivated?
But it took me years. It wasn't an overnight process. But I realized what the bigger picture was. So what's crazy, I went back home. So I only had $500. Then I meet Michael Jackson, attorney. And he said, if I'm going to sit down and talk to you, son, I'm 19 years old. He said, I'm going to sit down and talk to you, son. It's going to cost you $25,000. I'm like, man, where am I going to get $25,000 from? And so I started selling the CDs out the trunk of my car. And I went from New York to Chicago to Texas, selling CDs out the trunk of my car. And I raised up enough money, and I went back to Michael Jackson, the attorney. I said, mister, I had a $25,000. He said, come on to Hollywood. I'm going to tell you what you could do. I'm going to tell you a deal you could get bigger than Michael Jackson. He said, at that time, Michael Jackson was getting 22% of record. He said, there's one deal that no black man has ever received. Is a distribution deal where you get 85% and the record company get 15%. But you're going to need $200,000 for marketing money. I said, man, I just gave you $25,000 to tell me that I'm going to need $200,000. So went back home, started selling my CDs out the trunk of my car again, and I raised the money. And so a year later, Priority Records came at me, and they said, we want to give you a deal. I said, is it a distribution deal? They said, what you know about a distribution? I said, I want 85% and y'all get 15%, and I got $200,000. And they said, well, if you got $200,000, we're going to give you that deal. And I ended up saving my money up from selling the CDs and the cassettes out the trunk of my car. I gave them the money. They said, look, now, we don't think you're going to sell that many records. He said, what's the name of your album? Because everything was black back then. Everybody wore black, NWA, Tupac, everybody wore black. So I said, name my album going to be Mr. Ice Cream Man, and I'm going to wear a white suit. He said, you crazy. Nobody's going to buy into that, but he didn't know that I was already marketing, going all around the U.S. just, passing my CDs out. And he said, I don't know how good you're going to do, but if you make your money back, we'll be good. Man, God is good. I put my record out. He said, you're probably going to sell 6,000 units. That'll be good. I put the Ice Cream Man out. The first week we did over 50,000. Next week 100,000, 200, 500, then 1 million. The album went platinum. He said that never seen nothing like that
How did you grow your business? I mean, how did you learn to skill of conducting your business affairs?
So, people don't know at 19, I moved to Richmond, California, and No Limit started out as a retail store. I started opening up as a mom and pop store. And so that's how I met a lot of the artists and seeing what they was doing. And as I built that brand, I knew what the customers wanted. And so they wanted more for their money. So when these guys was putting out 6 and 12 songs, I was putting out 18 and 22 songs. I was calling it a 2-for-1. So I was giving the customers more for their money. And just by being in that store and learning the business. So people don't know you really have to learn your business if you really want to be successful. And it took a lot of time. It took a lot of, sacrificing to say that I have to spend time at what I love. And I realized I wasn't in it for the money.
What did you sacrifice?
Well, I sacrificed my time away from my family. The money that I had to pay employees. So many nights I had to pay employees when I didn't get paid. So I was sleeping in the back of my store and had nowhere to stay. So, but I used that store as, this is my hub. This is what's going to get me out the ghetto.
Say suffering and sacrifice breeds character. Character breeds faith. In the end, faith will prevail. If it's worth having, it's worth working for. Put your hand together. One thing he saved his money. He said, if I spend more than I make and vote less than I can, I'm not making sense. If I spend more than I have and go on credit, become a credit card slave, I am not making sense. And then put your hands together on that. Since you've been in this and you moved to another level of distribution, how many records or albums have you sold?
So today I've sold over 100 million records.
I ain't got nothing else to say.
No, people don't know, like, so when I first got into the business, they told me that I can't put that many records out at one time. And, I ended up having 20 records on the top 200 Billboard charts at one time, which never been done at one time for independent companies. And to be able to, I just signed a big deal with Lionsgate to do my life story. To be able to be alive and to be able to tell your story is just a blessing. So, y'all keep chasing y'all dreams and y'all goals. I did it. I know you guys can do it. And then people don't realize discipline. So it's all about discipline. It's all about faith. And it's all about doing what you believe. But I never work for money. I tell people all the time, I make money, but I don't work for money. You got to do what you love. And, my whole thing was I want to take my people out of bad environment. So that's what motivated me to where, those stomach pains, growing up in the project, not having nothing, living with all those people. So I never had a bed till I was 18, till I went to college to play basketball. So, but I didn't get angry or upset. That motivated me to say, I'm going to take my grandmother out the projects. I need to do something. So the sacrifices also is I had to say no to stuff like drugs. I had that around me and my family. I had to say I want to break those negative stereotypes. And that's what I wanted to do. I said I would rather get high on making some money than get high on getting high. So, yeah.
Well, the point is that he has defied the stereotype of gangster and drugs. Say gangster. A special place for gangsters in the jail on their way to the graveyard. Special place for drug addicts, hospital on their way to the graveyard. Sobriety, suffering, and sacrifice are keys to the kingdom. Put your hand together one more time. Since you developed this, how many other artists can you recall you helped get in the business and kind of bring them into the scheme of things?
Yeah, a lot. I helped from Snoop Dogg to Mystical, Silk, Mia, Fiend, C, Silk the Shocker. Mia X, Romeo, man, I could go on and on and on. It's a lot. Like Soulja Slim. 50 Cent, yeah, I did the 50 Cent tour. People don't know when 50 Cent first came out, I'm the guy that paid for his tour. Like, I believed in him when nobody else did. So even Snoop, at that time where nobody believed in Snoop and thought his career was over, he signed with me and we ended up selling millions of records. So to the day, you know, we are still friends. We're still doing, you know, big projects together. So yeah, it's all about saying that I don't want to be on the mountain by myself. And I tell people, when you come to No Limit, it's like a university. I want you to graduate. I want you to go be businessmen. I want you to give back to the community. I want you to do your part. So I've been helping these kids in my community. We have a basketball program, the P. Miller Ballers in Cal Supreme. We've been doing that for over 19 years, and we done put some of the top players in the NBA, from DeMar DeRozan, Brandon Jennings, Lance Stevenson, Ryan Boatwright, just to name a few. So, and I've been having these guys since they was in the 7th grade through this program, teaching African American black men how to be more than just basketball. So, you know, those are the type of things that excite me, that makes me keep giving back and keep being in the community. You know, just last week, a guy asked me, well, why do you keep doing this stuff for kids in the hood? I said, because I was once one of those kids. And I tell these kids, I say, y'all don't owe me nothing. All y'all got to do is promise me if one of y'all make it, y'all going to keep coming back and help. So that's what it's about.
Where did you go to college to play basketball?
Well, you know, for me, I consider myself a life coach now. My coach used to come to the project, pick me up, put me on this AAU team, showed me the world, so my vision was bigger. And that's what I want to do for these kids. So I think that's what drove me to play basketball. They got me a scholarship to go to college. So where my education...
Where'd you go?
I went to the University of Houston. So I went to the University of Houston. With that education, I learned business, like business communication. It was all about business for me. So I learned all the design work of colors and stuff like that. So when I opened my business, I knew how to draw and attack to consumers.
Did somebody stuff you and change your mind?
Huh?
Did somebody stuff you and change your mind? So you mentioned a few minutes ago that in the Disney records you're into movies now.
Yes.
What are you up to now?
Well, so I just finished probably the biggest comedy of 2019. It's called I Got the Hook Up Too. So y'all know #1 was a big movie. And you know, I made Independent Filmmaker of the Year over Spike Lee with that movie. And you know, I'm wishing him well for this year that he wins something. But next year is gonna be all mine. I Got the Hook Up Too, because I want to make comedy. I want to make people laugh. I feel like we're being too serious. I want that. So I have John Witherspoon, Cheryl Underwood. I mean, me and AJ, we Black and Blue, we back. So you guys are gonna see that real soon, June 28th. That movie's coming out. That's funded by us. We did it all on our own. We didn't sit around and wait on Hollywood. We was able to break new up and coming talent like a DC Young Fly, P.O. Fat Boy. So we able to put them with all these Hollywood stars and break them in a movie, which never been done. I haven't seen it yet, to where we put the old and the new and mix it up. So I think that we're going to change the game with this. Even on social media, we have over 200 million followers with the actors and actresses in this movie. So this is a new way to sell and market movies that I started on my own. So I wanted to build it through a social media perspective.
Now, what are you up to now?
Well, I'm coaching right now. I got my kids, both of my boys. I got one in the 7th grade, one in the 10th grade. So I just love coaching. When I'm not making movies, I'm on the road with them. I'm a basketball coach, so that's what I'm doing.
How many artists in the room? Artists in the room, raise your hand, artists. What would you like to leave with them, Pete?
Yeah, so my thing to you guys, don't do this for the money. Do it because you love it. Because if you do it because you love it, the money is going to come. And study your business. This is your business. Don't let nobody shortchange you on this or tell you. You know, somebody can't tell you right from wrong if you study it. It's so much stuff on social media. Now you guys can go on a computer, you pull up what you want to learn about the industry. Go in there sharp. Go in there before you do a deal. And I'm telling you one thing I want to leave with you guys. Never do a deal desperate. And that's what I learned in my career. If you're desperate, do not do that deal. You know, because they know that. They can see it. When you come in there and say, hey, I'm going to get you a check for $50,000. No, I need to, you know, you get to pay your bills. Well, sign that. Or I give him $20,000 now.
So a hungry man shouldn't go grocery shopping?
No. and you know, you guys, I mean, that's the truth. One thing that helped me, like I'm not afraid to pray on what I'm doing and give it to God. I always ask him, I say, man, put me around the right people. Put me in the right business. It's not about me no more. I put him first. So I was doing some stuff in Louisville in the Ali Center, and man, the things that Ali was able to accomplish in his career, you know, I was just inspired, you know, walking through that place, and it reminds me of you, like all the things that you do and the credit that you don't get, to where this man is a leader. He's a hero for us, and that's why I'm here. You know, I was filming, so I'm like, man, Mr. Jackson said I need to come down there. This is history. You don't get this. I gotta go. You know, people. This is the wisdom for us. Like you can't disrespect this. This is real for me, and that's why I'm here. And you guys should be able to appreciate that. That if it wasn't people like this fighting for us in the community and everything that he has done for us, I mean, we wouldn't be able to be, you know, where we hit. And that's what makes me fight, saying, you know what, Pete, you got to keep this going. You got to get out here and do your part. And this is, I just want to thank you, my brother, for real.
Thank you, man. You ever have an old men who are poor and halfway pitiful? I'm talking about myself. What should other artists do to help our people? And from your point, in terms of giving back, and do they help our people? What should they do?
Well, I'm telling you guys, the more you make, the more you give. Because we can't help our people if we don't come back and do what we need to do. You know, if we don't come back and do what we need to do, we can't help our people. We need to help us. They're not going to help us. Like, I don't care what you think or what you say, they're not going to help us, and they definitely don't want to see this. So we got to unite together and do what we got to do for us. That's how I see it. You know, I'm going to keep fighting. I keep coming up with product. I keep doing things to make money, to be able to go back and help us. That's basically what it's about. I mean, we can't take this with us. So it's all about doing your part. And I feel like if I keep on doing what I need to do, then I'm going to be able to help as many people as I can help. And if I get the other entertainers and pro athletes to do the same thing, I feel like we're going to help us. And
you know, there was a song many years ago with the Dixon Hummingbirds called "I'll Keep on Living After I Die."
Yeah.
And I think about when Dr. King was in jail in Birmingham. You just thought that they burned his sentence on run president, they gave him $6 million in 3 or 4 hours. Belafonte had to put on a fundraiser in his house to bail out to hang out of jail.
Yeah.
But Belafonte in his 90s now. So
Yeah.
Belafonte
Still
lives. He lives beyond his career. He invested in the people. Now he gets to return his own lifetime watching the joy of his sacrifice. Stephen likewise made the same commitment to focus on music, not just on money. And at the darkest hours, Stephen Wonder was always there. Aretha Franklin. I remember we were in Atlanta at the Hyatt Hotel in 1967, and the second group to have a convention at Dr. King Sidney Poitier spoke that night. Aretha sang, and she never stopped giving. So she never stopped giving, and God never stopped giving. No matter how hard you try, you can't beat God giving. Put your hands together on that little bit. I'm gonna lean on P. I'm gonna ask about 3 questions from somebody.
Master P, thank you for all that you do. Quick question. Would you be willing to lead the charge among all our black professional athletes to pool their money into opening of black banks?
Yeah.
Would you be willing to start that, sir?
So my thing is, knowing these athletes, if they have this, it says about changing your mindset. If they have the right mindset, we can control a lot of things. Because, even I told this today to some sports people, I said, what about the people that just help you get to where you are, like your mom or your dad? We give 10% of our money to financial advisors and agents, but we forget the people that help us get there. I've never seen too many athletes say, I give 10% to my mom or my dad, the person that helps me get there. So imagine if we took a 10% or something like that and invest in our own banks and stuff like that. Where will we be? But we have to change that mindset because they turn us against us once we get the money. That we don't need each other. So I think we're going to have to start programming the younger athletes before they get there. Because the older ones, once they get there, they know it all. So yeah, I'm definitely open for that.
You see, one of the things we brought the Jack Robinson up was because we had John Newcomb died yesterday, great baseball pitcher. And we had Jack Robinson, Don Newcomb, and Campanella. Yankees had an all-white team. They would beat us every year some kind of way. In '65, we had the chance to beat the Yankees. With Koufax and Drysdale pitching back-to-back. And Koufax wouldn't open the World Series game because of his religion. His value was bigger than the opening game of the World Series. There's a verse in the Bible, Exodus 13:3. So remember this day when God put his hand and saved us from slavery. Now, to appreciate that is to appreciate people who are still fighting to break change down. And I can't help but admire the artists who gave of their time and their talents. And I've never seen an artist who gave his time and talent who didn't give back more than he put in. Next.
Hi, my name is Erica Collins. My question is for Master P. There seems to be a movement in blockchain and disruptive technology to give more power back to the artists themselves. I just ran across an app where individuals can own the copyrights, almost in like a market. Are you working on any movements or any programs or projects involving that?
Well, my thing right now, when you talk about apps and dealing with things like that, I'm building an app right now just about giving back. So I just feel like for me, I'm at another place in my life to where I want to be able to help foundations and things like that. So we're building an app to do that. But for as me on the music thing, I feel like you're going to have to know your business in the music. To make money in music now, you have to tour. So a lot of these guys don't realize that it's all about getting a hit record and then doing the touring. It's not like when I was in the game to where it was all about selling records. So now it's about the touring. So I mean, if I'm going to do something on the music side, it'll probably be on the touring side.
Next.
Reverend.
Sir, you last, okay? quick.
Reverend, I have a straight line from a legend.
Yeah, I just wanted to say this, what you said earlier about the banks. You know, I want to say this, and it's very important. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. The attitude is your longitude. You're right. In terms of those banks and what have you,
Yep.
and those board figures that makes millions and millions of dollars, but don't give back, you gotta change the way you look at. They gotta change the way they look at things.
Tell them the business you're in so they know who you are.
Well, I'm in publishing. I published Today's Black Woman, Black Men, and Hype Hair. I've worked with Bernard Bronner on Upscale Magazine. I gave back. I give back. I help young folks, okay, young models, young designers. I give them the right attitude and the right to take it to the longitude. And that's what life is all about today. Taking time to give back. All right? And that's what we don't do. And that's why we got a Trump in office, because we don't give back and we don't think about the next person. Okay? Attitude. Thank you very much.
That was our 2017 living legend, Mr. John Blassingame. Thank you, Mr. Blassingame.
How you doing? I appreciate the opportunity, Janae. I brought some gifts for Reverend Jesse James and Master P. I'm an independent. Excuse me. Sorry. Call us out. I brought some gifts and stuff like that for y'all. You know, like basically, I appreciate the opportunity and the knowledge that y'all giving back and everything like that. Everything y'all saying is so inspiring. You know what I'm saying? And coming out the trunk of the car like Master P, I'm a vendor on 125th. Like I really push my brand. This is, as you can see, pushing the Golden Line is all about consciousness and different things of that nature. I already plan on giving back, and I ain't even where I'm supposed to be. Do a program called Megastar Brand Kids, you know what I'm saying? And I just want to say, you know, God bless everybody here, you know what I'm saying, on their business endeavor.
Thank you.
You know, on this giving back thing, a honeybee. There are no homes, there are no homeless honeybees. There are no divorced honeybees. Honeybees get nectar from a flower. When the honeybee gets nectar, that's its situation. The honeybee does not just fly away. So you got mine, you got yours to get. The honeybee drops pollen. It picks up nectar to the honeybee, drops pollen. It picked up nectar, so the flower can regenerate. The flower dies, honeybee dies. We should at least have honeybee sense. Feed the flower that you rob. Y'all got
I just want to say also thank you to Master P and to Reverend Jesse Jackson. Thank you for this opportunity and speaking to us today. My name is Dr. Mary Kay Holmes. I'm actually a #1 international best-selling author. I wrote a book about my life. And I want to ask you something about breaking into the independent film industry. And so the story about my life, it was so popular that I'm writing a second book called From Prostitute to Preacher, because now I'm a first lady and a pastor, but I'm a former prostitute and a dancer. And so it's something that I actually have a playwright writing a play about my life, but I want to find out from you, what advice would you give to someone that's looking to break into not only having stage plays done, but also into the independent film industry?
Yeah, so right now is a good time in the film business, because with all the different options to put your projects through. So this is a good time to, you know, whether you want to take it Netflix, Amazon, take it to the big screen, take it to BT doing films now, you know, creating this movie on your own and then saying, you know what, for distribution, I can own this and I can take it to multi-carriers. So this is a good time. I think the first thing is getting the script done. So other people can look at it, get directors to look at it, and go from there.
Thanks.
Yes, hello, thank you. I want to say God bless the Reverend Jesse Jackson and to Master P. My name is Lioness Roars, and I am an entrepreneur. I'm a radio personality host / TV that's making it in this business. I have faith in what I do. My name is spiritual, gave to me through vision, and my brand, Wine Glasses Up, mean enjoy life, mean we fellowshipping together. What I'm doing out here now is speaking about enjoying life, appreciating life, and I don't do any drama. So basically, I don't do interviews, I like to get testimonies.
Yeah.
So what y'all spoke up here today was testimonies, and I've been filming that on my phone. So what advice would you have for me as a woman in this business? Because it's very hard for a woman in this business.
Yeah, but you know, like now, women are actually getting looked at the right way. So just keep going, breaking down those doors. Like you said, Dr. Martin Luther King already paved the way for us as people. And I think, you know, women now, you guys are definitely at the forefront now where people want to see successful women in business. So you guys don't hold your head down. Go kick those doors in and keep going. Keep doing what you do. And it definitely is there. It's you guys' time. All right.
Last two.
I'm gonna ask the question now. I just wanted to understand where I'm coming from. Yeah. He was working at the restaurant making 10,000. After I trained him, he became an estimator, estimating the construction of buildings. He's making 90,000 now. Now, this program is so good, and I'm trying to expand it nationwide, where I can train black folks who are making $10,000 to move to management position without college degree. These are 21-year-olds, 22-year-olds making 90,000. When they see me on the street, they are so joyous, and I said, I trained you, I'm making this money. If I should drop dead today, you'll continue this program. Now, my biggest question is this. How can we set up a training platform to expand training to people in technology, in computer science, in construction estimating, and in your business? How can we do this?
Next.
All right, so Master P, first of all, Jesse Jackson, my second time coming to your events, and I appreciate every time you do this. Master P, I wanted to tell you, so I have a company called Artist Financial Program where we basically help artists get access to capital and give them money for real estate development and advance the money towards their career, et cetera, et cetera. We utilize a lot of your groundwork, like videos and things you said in the past, as like promotional information to get artists to understand the value of ownership. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to know two things. One, what's the possibility of having you on a podcast to talk to these artists directly, and where we film it, audio, etc. And the second thing is we're doing an event in the Cayman Islands on April 10th, where we have like a bunch of people, royalty and a lot of people there. And I want to know what's the possibility of having you speak at that event as well.
So I guess we'll hook you up with, she'll get you to my people and see, you know, that's a time thing. April 10th is quick. So, you know, maybe not this year, but maybe next time. But we'll figure it out. Let's connect and let's go from there.
Look, Janelle, hold your hand up. Janelle made this event happen. In Janea's other life, Janelle was All-American basketball player. She had 1,000 points, 1,000 rebounds. 1,000. Give a big hand.
Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame.
That's why my speech to a record. He didn't get no 1,000 of these.
Come on, man. I'm about to pull my stats up now. Now I'm proud of you. You know, like you've done something amazing, especially in sports, because it's a tough sport. People don't realize basketball is that challenging and all the hard work that it takes to go out there every day and prepare. I mean, I played in the NBA, so I know, like it's tough. So, you know.
And I'm just going to shameless plug my mom right there, because she's the one who held me down. So thank you. So again, thank you everyone. We're going to take a couple pictures.